I loved her, and I just wanted her to know. She was the quiet girl, the hidden beauty, but I had seen the things she had done in secret. I had seen her help an old man cross the road, open the door for an injured woman, give to every homeless person she crossed. I was only in high school, and I wasn't sure what love was until I had seen it all that she was. And she was love, and she was the one I loved. I just had to have the courage. Then it came one day when we had to pick out what the Santa Claus had our Secret Santa, and I had gotten her. I wanted to give her the best present I could, a piece of my heart, just to show her that I loved her. I loved her. I took a photo of her on my phone, and when I got home that day, I pulled out the canvas and my paints and brushes and began to sketch into the hard material. After I had got the rough sketch done, I began to paint. I painted for 5 hours that day, but the painting was not good enough. When I saw her at school the next day, I saw her crying as she sat on the stairs with tears in her eyes. I was afraid to approach her, but I did and asked, "Hey, Lily, what's wrong?" "Oh, Billy, nothing." I nervously sat down next to her and patted her gently on the back as she came out with her worries. "I got Harvey for Secret Santa and, oh, I love him so much, but I know nothing I get him will be good enough." I froze stiff the moment I heard her say the words, "I love him." She loved him. Harvey was the most confident and handsome guy in our year. He was a player, and he did not deserve someone like her. "Just," I said quietly, looked into her green eyes. She looked back at me, and I gulped, continuing, "Just give him a bit of your heart." "But what if he rejects me?" she asked, with worried tears. "And what if you never know if you don't try?" I said in pain, and she nodded her head, wiping her tears away from her cheeks from the side of her hand, and gave me a side hug. "Thanks, Billy. You really are the nicest guy in school." I looked my eyes to the ground. I continued on painting, trying to show just how beautiful she truly was. 12 hours went by that Saturday, and my mother begged me to go to bed. I worked on it for 1 week. The day came. The day just before school holidays. We all prepared our gifts. I had mine on an easel stand, covered with a bedsheet, and everyone was curious as to what I had brought to school. When it was time to hand out the gifts, I saw Lily hand Harvey a wrapped up small box. He opened it eagerly, and just looked confused when he saw a locket with a dog engraved inside it. I know how much you like dogs, and I just wanted to—" "It's great, Lily, thanks," he said quickly, and shoved it in his pocket. He smiled at her in a quickness that would beat the Flash, and just hurried off to talk to a couple of pretty girls away in the distance. I grew angry at the sight, as Lily just stood there, alone, forgotten, unloved, for she was love to me. I said, "Lily." She looked my way, and I pulled the sheet down, showing a picture of her with angel wings, holding her legs to her multicolored dress, with her heart glowing and butterflies and tiny little colorful birds flying around her. She looked at the giant painting and just gasped. Taking a step back, and I said to her with sincere words, "You are beautiful." Everyone was looking at the beautiful picture of the girl no one had seen, and she had tears welling in her eyes. That's beautiful," one of the girls said. "It's gorgeous," another shouted in amazement, and they all crowded around it, besides Lily, who just ran out of the room crying. I followed her and grabbed her arm, stopping her from running away, and asked, "Tell me, what's wrong?" "How can you see me like that?" she asked. "How can I not?" I said back. "You're beautiful, and everyone has to know." She shook her head, but I nodded my own, and took both her hands in mine, saying to her, "I love you." She just looked at me, her eyes wide and not seeing this ever in our interactions, and she just peeked out a smile, saying, "Really?" "Yes. Will you give me a chance?" She just wiped her face again with one of the hands I let loose, and I dropped her other hand, but she picked my right one up with her left and said, "Kiss me on the cheek." "Merry Christmas, Billy. I see you tomorrow for some tea or coffee?" I looked at her, feeling my heart just filled with so much warmth and peace and just joy, love. "So is that a yes?" She looked quietly to the ground and whispered out, a shy smile coming across her lips, "Yes." I would love some tea. Or coffee, I said back, and wrapped her in a hug. Lily breathed not the unexpected hold, but just sighed a happy breath out and hugged me back. I didn't realize that the whole class was watching away from the door in the distance, and when two of us both opened our eyes and looked into each other's, we heard someone shout, "Kiss!" We froze, looking away to see Harry whistle this out, and everyone laughed, even Lily. Even Lily.